Hi there and welcome to the stream. My name's Brendan, this is my channel Alpine Bravo, and I'm just going to do a stream in the ATR-76 and we've got to take off pretty soon, so I'm going to really rattle through the departure. We're going from Auckland to Nelson. I will just show you the routing by bringing that up on screen 2. Here we are up in Auckland. We've got the Pagal 3 Quebec departure, runway 05, which will the lines, the Carl transition. So we'll be taking off to the east, northeast, and doing a couple of right-hand turns to track back out to the west, and then a turn to the south-southeast, and then tracking suddenly all the way down to the South Island, and Nelson is down in here, and not quite sure exactly what we'll be doing when we get there, but we will see. The weather is looking very fine the whole way, even though it's a sort of early winter or autumn in New Zealand. It is lovely weather, so not expecting any rain or icing or any particular significant weather events en route. Let's bring up Volanta. There's the route on Volanta. So we've got 48 passengers today with just over 1,000 kilograms of bags, fuel 1,709 kilograms of fuel, and in fact that is pretty important. I've loaded the packs in, but I haven't done the fuel. So 1,709 divided by 2, let's call it 1,710 by 2, that's 855 kilograms in each. And just while we're here, we've got 650 kilograms of bags in the front, 400 in the back, and then we've got 7, 7, 20, 7, and 7 packs. That's how I've allocated them into the different sectors to get a nice weight and balance. Okay, oh, you wouldn't been able to see any of that because it was on the other screen. Sorry about that. I'll have to figure out a hotkey to switch between the screens. Okay, cruising at flight level 200, flight time just over an hour and 15 minutes, 306 nautical track miles. And just coming back, we'll just show you where we are at the airport. We're over here at stand 48, I think it is, Charlie 5 taxiway apron, and we'll be taking off runway 5, so we can expect come out Charlie 5, then Bravo, and maybe Bravo 7, I don't know, but then on to Alpha, join at Alpha 10, Alpha 10, and then the Pagla 3 Quebec departure, so it'll be out runway heading above 3,000 by ADCOM, and then a maximum 210 knots until the turn is complete at Madvey and above 6,000 feet, and then crossing this point here just after Pagla at 10,000 feet. And we have the Carl transition, so it'll be Limes, then Carl. Airport elevation 23 feet. Now, what I've not yet got is the ATIS, which is going to be 127.0, so I'll just tune that on COM2 now. And I'll bring us back onto our scene. Okay, so 127.0 for the ATIS. I'm never going to take off in time now. Well, I'm supposed to push back in about 10 minutes. 8 minutes. So we've got Beyond ATC up and running.
Tray. 1830 Zulu. Wind 100 at fixed temperature 09er. Dew point 07. QNH1018. Landing and departing runway 05 right. Transition level 150. Advise on initial contact you have information X-ray. Auckland Airport information X-ray. 1830 Zulu. Wind 100 at 6 temperature 09er. Dew point 07. QNH1018. Landing and departing runway 05 right. Transition level 150. Advise on initial contact you have information X-ray. Auckland Airport information X-ray. 1830 Zulu. Wind 100 at 6 temperature 09er. Dew point 07. QNH1018. Landing and departing runway 05 right.
Okay, so that was information X-ray. It just took me a couple of goes to get the wind, so we can go to clearance now. I've not programmed the FMC yet, but I'll do that. Well, I need to get the passengers boarded as well. I'm running PAC-X, so let's get that started. So you'll hear them boarding, and you'll hear the New Zealand boarding music. The clearance is 128.2, and we've got that tuned on COM1 now. So we're flying as Air New Zealand 067 Mike. So let's get our IFR clearance. Auckland delivery New Zealand 067 Mike with information X-ray, ready to copy IFR clearance to Nelson.
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find a seat, be sure to place your large carry-on items in the overhead bin,
bit of a lag
smaller items underneath the seat in front of you.
with the response.
New Zealand 067 Mike. Auckland delivery. Thanks for information X-ray. Expect runway 05 right. Toggle 3 to get departure with the car transition. Squawk 4735.
Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can get by you.
Okay, that's all as expected. So expect runway 05 right, Paggle 3 Quebec departure with a Carl transition, squawk 4735, New Zealand 067 Mike.
Feel free to use your cell phones during the rest of the boarding process, but we do ask that laptops, tablets, and any other larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you, and welcome aboard. We're on your time now.
Okay, oh, they got them boarded pretty quick.
New Zealand 067 Mike. Read back correct.
Good morning,
Contact ground 123.0 when ready for pushback or engine start.
Roughly 1 hour and 15 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane
Contact
mode
ground
and your large devices are now shut down
123.0 when ready for
Please
pushback
fasten
and
your
engine
seatbelt and
start.
make sure that all
New
tray
Zealand
tables and
067
seat backs are in a
Mike.
full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare doors for departure, cross-check, verify straps, and stand by for all calls.
Right. 17708 for our 0 fuel weight. and fuel on board is 1710. Okay, performance initialization, we're going to be at flight level 200, and our ultimate is Wellington NZWN. For that. Okay, and flight plan initialization route. First we'll put in our ATC identifier in 0067 Mike, and then it is in ZAA to NZNS. Execute that. Okay, let's get the departure in. So it's runway 5 right, and with the Pagal 3 Quebec departure and the Carl transition, so we can execute that. Get ourselves to Carl and start getting in the en route waypoint. So it's Airways H384, then to November Papa, then H252. There we go, to Convo, and then it's the Capua 2 Alpha arrival, but I'm not going to put that in yet. Okay, that should be our route. We'll just check on the navigation display with the map mode. So we'll just cycle through. There's the departure. I'll zoom it out now. So there's Limes, Carl, November Papa.
Aircraft calling. Did not copy.
No, just ignore that. Unfortunately, I've got a push to talk. Thanks to Beyond ATC, it's mapped to 2 buttons. It's a little bug in their system. But anyway, that routing all looks okay. So I'll just put that back. Okay, so we have, I think we're pretty much ready to get engine started, get into hotel mode. But before we do that, we will final cockpit preparation checklist. So park and brake is engaged. Altimeters, better set our altimeter, and it was 1018. Actually read that, going the wrong way. There we go, 1018. Not syncing there. That seems to be locked for some reason. It must be a setting that I haven't figured out yet. Okay, and the squawk. It's always a good idea to put the squawk in before, and it was a squawk 4735. So it's 4735. Enter. On. Okay, so that's our squawk set. So altimeters are set and checked. Landing and elevation is checked at 0 feet. FMS, com and nav. Well, now I've got the FMC programmed, I will just on the flight guidance control panel set it heading, nav, IES, and on the ICP we'll set it to auto, so it should be magenta. Yep. Okay, fuel quantity, so fuel on board checked, fuel used, we'll just reset fuel used, and we'll confirm the takeoff data while we're there. Okay, check the memo panel, that's okay, power management is in takeoff, procedure is complete. Okie doke. So let's get an engine started in hotel mode. So what am I doing? Right. Engine pumps are on, engine start can go to A and B. And start 2. Ignition. NH is above 10, so condition level to feather.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your
ITT
attention to the
rising.
screen for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying with us.
Civil aviation rules require you to comply with all the safety notices and signs on this aircraft and with the instructions of the crew. This is a non-smoking service. Smoking, including e-cigarettes, is not
Okay,
permitted in
good
the
engine
aircraft. start. You will find a copy of the card Gurun is holding in your seat
We
pocket.
can
Please read it to become
lose the
familiar with our
external
safety
power.
procedures. If an emergency occurs during takeoff or landing, adopt one of the recommended brake positions you see demonstrated on your safety card.
Now I should have closed the service door before starting the engine, but then the ground power can go away. That's why is the prop brake could not be never engaged the. I thought I did engage the prop brake in my pre-flight. Anyway, I didn't, so I started my engines. Well, started rotation before the checklist and speaking to ATC about it. Bad pilot. Okay, well, let's get the tail prop away then. Main door can be closed, cargo door can be closed. Put the beacon on. Should have done that before starting the engine. Okay, doke. Well, we'll just look at that before rotation. Checklist. Cockpit door locking system is closed. FMS and takeoff date is set. Trims. So we'll just set our pitch trim. 1.6 set. And it's fine for elevator and rudder. Tail props on board, doors are closed, seat belts go on, beacon is on. Okay, before rotation checklist complete. Unfortunately, after I rotated. Let's plan the pushback now, using the pushback toolbar. Now there's only one way that you can face here. Really, it's a cul-de-sac, so I think it's you face me kind of southeast, southwest. Okay, that'll do. We'll connect a tug.
Cockpit to ground.
Okay, and while he's connecting, I will speak to ATC. Auckland ground, ready for push and start. Okay, he's connected. We can take the chocks off. Yeah, on the
Aircraft
ATCs.
calling for pushback. Say call sign.
It's being very slow tonight. New Zealand 067 Mike.
Standing by for pushback.
New Zealand 067 Mike. Auckland apron ground. Pushback approved. Face south.
Pushback approved, face south. New Zealand 067 Mike.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push.
So we can release
Okay,
the parking
please
brake.
push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Ready to go.
Commencing pushback. Please start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Well, it helps that we've already got one started. Well, we will start engine 2. Okay, condition limit to feather. IGT rising. Okay, starters off.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Okay, parking
Ground.
brake is
You may
set.
disconnect.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect.
Okay, taxi lights can go on. Right, we'll get the map up and zoom it in to a useful level. So we'll just go through our before taxi checklist. Head tracking on now for this. Flight warning system recall pressed, nothing shown. Com hatch closed. Condition levers 1 and 2 can now go to auto, which they already appear to be in, and I'm not really quite sure why, but anyway, I did wonder why I saw the low pitch warning come up. I just don't think it was synced with my
All aircraft be advised information Yankee now current. QNH1018.
QNH1018, so that is a change of 1 hectopascal, so we just updated that. Anti-icing not required. Our TRU, transformer rectifier unit, can go on. Anti-skid test formed. Flaps are set 15. Nose wheel steering is on. That should have been off for the pushback. Forgot to do that. Okay, taxi checklist. Taxi and takeoff check. Taxi and takeoff lights are on. Okay, and the rest we do while we are going. And now we're ready to call for taxi. Auckland apron ground, New Zealand 067 Mike, ready for taxi, runway 05 right. Beyond ATC is being very slow tonight. They're obviously busy.
Concept female Grand, g'day, taxi by Kilo Bay. Kilo to the back, Concept 30.
Well, we were supposed to be out of here 10 minutes ago. 12 minutes ago, so. Oh, I don't know what that was. That's just chatter from FS Chatter. It's not actually linked to any real traffic. It's just real ATC clips. Oh, come on! Beyond ATC, this is the slowest it's ever been. Passengers are already late. They're going to be unhappy with me. I'm still very satisfied, but it's not going to last if this delay lasts much longer. Okay, we'll just remind ourselves of the likely taxi while we are waiting for ATC to respond. I'll just bring up Navigras charts. So here we are here. So it'll be Charlie 5, then Bravo, maybe Bravo 7, Bravo 6, then Alpha 10. Yeah, this is getting a bit crazy. I'll have to figure out how to use a hotkey to switch between the scenes though. Okay, well, Beyond ATC seems to be hung up. So I'm just going to start my taxi. I do have FSLTL, no, not FSLTL, AIG traffic running, but I think it is very early in the morning in Auckland and there's not many lights at this time of day. But I don't see any traffic at all, so maybe AIG is not running. Yeah, it wasn't running. Sorry about this. There's no way I can get rid of that either. Can I move it? No, I cannot, and that's very annoying. You know what? That is extremely annoying. Right, okay, that's okay. Managed to get rid of it. Probably might see some aircraft popping in at some point. Lovely scenery. Okay, Beyond ATC seems to be completely stuck. It's still loading. It must have, I did have it set up before start to stream, so it must have crashed. It's not doing my frame rates any good either. Okay, so we'll come on to Alpha at Bravo 7. Rolling along at 30 knots. So it's supposed to be off the block 6 minutes ago. So we'll try and get up in the air without any delay. Okay, here's Bravo 7. To Alpha. Gotta be careful there. Just watch, because that's Alpha 7 continues. It's a high speed exit. You could find yourself incurring on the runway quite easily. It's still loading. I've had broadband problems today and yesterday, so I wonder if I've just got bad internet at the moment. But the stream still seems to be going, so can't be that bad. Yeah, I just shut off AIG and immediately got 10 frame rates back, which is good because it was in the teens, which is not good. I normally get 35, 36, but when I'm streaming, that takes a lot out of it, particularly in this aircraft. Okay, we're just passing Alpha 9. See if we can get beyond ATC to come back. It's the first time I've actually had it hang on me. So Alpha 10 coming up. V1 and VR are both 106 knots. Okay, here's Alpha 10. Not a lot of wind around. So we'll just hold short when we get here and do our... So just our taxi checklist, our brakes were checked, our flight guidance control panel and FMA, flight mode annunciator are checked, although I need to dial in my initial altitude, which is 3000. Okay, 3000 set and selected. And finally we need to do the takeoff config check, which is a really awkward button over here on the pedestal. Okay, takeoff config check, okay, tells you there. I can bring up the navigation display, just zoom that in a little bit, leave it on rows. Okay, so taxi checklist complete. Let's see if I can get beyond ATC to come back. Just pop the parking brakes on as well. Yeah, it looks like I've got bad internet connection at the moment. It's not enough to run beyond ATC and the stream. Okay. Right, before takeoff checklist then, and well, before we do that we'll just go through our flow. So strobes and landing lights can go on, probe heats can go on. Checking for any, let's clear that, that was actually from the smoke test earlier, but we're looking for, did that in a big hurry, so emergency lights are armed, no orange lights, TRU is on. Okay, our gust lock, that's the most important thing, that goes off, but just see it advance the throttles there, and if you're not careful, head tracking is, yeah, what I want them to be in, as it's locking them in flight idle, of course, yes. Right, so takeoff briefing, runway 5 right, we'll take off pack for Pack 3 Quebec departure, so it'll be runway heading up to 3000 feet. That's all I need to say. Gust lock is also our before takeoff checklist. So the gust lock is off, the flight controls, I will check. Well, they're not moving, so that to me suggests that the gust lock. This is why we check them. Okay, why are my flight controls not moving? We'll check an exterior view as well. See if we can see any flight control movement. Ah, so it looks like an animation issue. So elevator, rudder and ailerons are all good, and we've got the animation back. Okay, and this is why I check. Okay, transponder TCAS, squawking and TCAS is above, boost function is not required, airflow is normal. I'll just make sure that we do have, yeah, packs are on, and cabin crew are advised, engine bleed is not required, exterior lights confirmed, lateral flight director, well, I'll zero the, I'll sync the heading bug once I line up, and rudder cam is centered, Actually, I need to learn more about what that is. I know it involves moving the rudder trim and then recentering it. So we're going to have to live without ATC on this flight. I'll try again once I'm airborne. Taking off into the rising sun. Okay, that's us lined up. Sync the heading bug, and we should get the lateral flight director bar centered. Centered. Okay, so that was our before takeoff checklist complete. And just final check of the critical items. So trims are set, flaps are set, gust lock is off. So we'll cool the toe brakes down, power in the notch, and we're rotating at 106. Okay, we're in the notch. Push control wheel forward. Speed's alive. 70 knots. Stop using the tiller and now use the controls. Okay, there's 106. Rotate. Airborne. Gear up. Okay, so LNAV is on. So yaw damper. Change the, yeah, there's the yaw damper. Bring that pitch down. Okay, well above acceleration altitude, so flaps go up. And power to climb. Hand flying it at the minute. 1,000 feet to go. So we want to be above 3,000 feet when we cross Adcom. Which is why I'm not following the vertical flight director bar. Just climbing a bit faster than it suggested. Okay, and we will increase our altitude to 6,000. 6,000 selected. There's our turn. So MADV above 6,000. So definitely don't want to be climbing at 170 knots, and what I can do is go to manual and select 150, which will give me a better rate of climb. try to climb pretty fast if you want to be 6,000 at Madvi. There's our turn. So we just made it. Okay, we're gonna now select 10,000, which is the next altitude on the star. The SID, I should say. IES selected. Just gotta watch that. Still on manual IES mode, still hand flying it. Yeah, a bit to the left of track, trying to correct that. Trying to follow the flight director now. Just trim it out as well. To push the stick forward a bit. There we go, that's nice, that's better. And you can see where the little white 10,000 is, that is where we'll hit 10,000, so we will be at 10,000 by the time we get to Pagua. Well, I think we can put the autopilot on now. And that's 1,000 feet to go. So LNAV, IS, autopilot, flight director, and we have 174 cyan. Blue. After takeoff checklist, we now autopilot's on. Landing gear is up, no lights. Flaps 0. Power management is in climb. Engine bleed, well, we checked that before takeoff, is on. Taxi and takeoff lights can go off. Altimeter second check, procedure complete. There we go. Auckland International. Okay, well our final altitude is going to be flight level 200. Transition level is 150. Or 15,000 feet for the transition altitude. Well, that's interesting. Just looking at the what the what the autopilot was doing. It started to initiate a turn to the right there.
Your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galley.
Okay, well that's flight level 200 selected. We will IES and we will set it to magenta 170, so that's us climbing. That was just passing 10,000. Well, just once we've rolled out of this bank, I'll turn the seatbelts off. But the landing lights can go off. Oh, what is this autopilot doing? Disconnect it. This is very buggy. It's like trying to do a backtrack. Yeah, I should have been monitoring that a lot more closely. I mean, the FMS has limes in as the waypoint, so why it was wandering all over the sky like that, I do not know. Anyway, I'll turn the seatbelts off. Get ourselves back on track. Yeah, that's why it's good to hand fly a lot of the departures, because when the autopilot does do something buggy and unexpected, I mean sometimes it's unexpected behaviour because you know you've not programmed it right. But that was definitely a problem with the however they've modelled it. So I'm still climbing at 170 knots. Got it nicely trimmed for that, and I'm just going to look for that magenta needle on the horizontal situation indicator to start to center. There it goes, it's starting to move now. So I'll turn onto my track as it comes in, and then I can think about re-engaging the autopilot. And when you engage the autopilot, you want to have the aircraft should be completely trimmed, so you're not having to do anything with the controls, no pressure on any of the control stick or the rudder pedals. Okay, that's us back on track. Still slightly left of it. Okay, well, we'll engage the autopilot again. Hopefully, it's not going to do anything crazy. Okay, that's looking better. Climb, yeah, okay. Oh, what's it doing? See, it's trying to center itself on the track. Okay. I'm going to try another tactic here. So it did that again. It was exactly the same behavior again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into heading mode. I synced the heading bug, gone into heading mode, and I'm going to select bearing. That will take us towards limes. And while it's doing that, I will do a direct to limes. This is crazy. Okay, I've disconnected the autopilot. So it wasn't even holding heading select there. Got a low speed warning. So we're trying to do this direct to lines. Yeah, poor old passengers must be thinking, what's going on? Wandering all over the sky. So what I want, I'm going to sync the heading bug. Heading select. Autopilot on. Hopefully that's just going to hold us. Okay. we will try direct to Carl. Execute that. And now we'll engage LNAV. And that should take us straight there, and it should behave itself and not start doing any crazy turns. Let's see though. And I've found that the ATR autopilot isn't the best modelled. Like the VNAV behaviour is not right. So much so that I try to avoid using it. And what a performance, well, we're only getting 600 feet a minute as well at the moment. So maybe we are at flight level 170 and we should put the barometer to standard. Okay, it is behaving itself more now. I'll turn the seatbelts off in PAC-X as well. I didn't have a chance to do that. Right. Seems to have settled down. So what was happening?
Turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can have it up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when needed in case of unexpected turbulence.
So what was happening was, in LNAV mode, we were left or right of track, so the magenta center part of the magenta needle on the HSI wasn't centered, and it was performing really radical maneuvers to try and get centered. And I don't know if the extent of those maneuvers was because of its proximity to the upcoming waypoint, because obviously it's trying to get itself back on track before it reaches the waypoint, and the closer the waypoint is, the bigger the maneuver it would have to do to perform that. So I think maybe that's what was going on there, but I'm sure it wouldn't do that in the real aircraft. And I don't know why it didn't hold heading hold, or give me a low speed warning as well. So anyway, all smooth now. And not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful day, beautiful morning in New Zealand. This is live weather with active sky, but well, weather's so good. There's not a lot to see. It's so good. I'll make sure it's functioning. Yes, it's connected. So I think the weather's less good when we get down towards Nelson. I can see, bring this window up here. This is active sky. So we can see it's nice and clear where we are at the moment. But as we come down in towards Nelson, we're going to run into some cloud here. Can I show what altitude that cloud is at? I don't think I can. Anyway, yeah. So we'll get a bit of weather, no doubt.
72 approaching 4,000.
So just get the ATC chatter back up. So it's not quite so quiet in the cockpit. Hello and welcome if you just joined the stream. We are in our ATR-72 Air New Zealand 067 Mike out of Auckland to Nelson on a lovely morning in New Zealand. We've reached our cruise level of flight level 200. So we have Alt Star. It's just coming up, and then when we get to, yeah, there's the alt captured, so our power can go to cruise, and traffic TCAS can go to normal. It's pretty clear at the moment. I'll put the weather radar on and put the navigation out to 160. Back to com. Right, well, I'll give Beyond ATC another go now that the workload's come down a bit, and see if it'll connect. Yeah, it's not connecting to the Beyond ATC server. They've obviously, it's a server-side problem for them. I could fire up the Microsoft ATC, but really, I don't think so. See what that is down there. A little bit of island, small island, tiny little island. I actually turned up.
We only accept credit cards.
Oh, start the in-flight service. I've got 100% satisfaction rating at the moment, despite my late departure and flying the aircraft around the sky. I might get some feedback on that from PACX at the end. So we can see off in the distance that's Mount Taranaki off in the distance, and our route will take us right over the summit of that, and that's in the centre of the Egmont National Park. It's obviously like they when they designed the park, they did it like saying a radius from the summit, because it's just a big circle completely surrounded by developed farmland, and then you've got this huge circle of untouched what I guess is fairly virgin New Zealand forest.
Good evening, Killing 415 Delta, and going down to Steve Gold. 415 Delta, approach, expert visual approach, runway 019. 01 right, Killing 415 Delta. evening, runway 019, expect the island to descend by south, fast south. South, fast south, the island 019.
I'll just probably I'll have a look at the approach and then see what the weather is doing at Nelson. Figure out if the approach, because we're not going to have ATC. So let's. I wonder if I can. If we've got Navigraph. Can't remember. There's Navigraph charts there actually. This is probably going to want me to sign in. Yeah. Okay, what we'll do is we'll just bring it up on the other screen. So we have the Kappa to Alpha arrival, and we're coming in from Kunvo. So yeah, and this will be for landing. It's quite tight. You come in up the valley here, and then you get to Ensid, and then you have to do a pretty sharp turn round to pick up the one of the RNAV arrivals. And I think it's an offset RNAV arrival as well. In fact, weekend approach is available, so it's suggesting the RNAV Zulu. That's quite looks quite tight from NZ. Okay, we'll add that to the route. See the chart. Yeah, so from NZ, Tumgo, so that's not final approach course. 026, I'm not sure is final approach course either. Slightly offset. The runway heading is 018, yes, that's offset 8 degrees. So you have to pretty much hand fly that last part. Yeah, so your missed approach point is Partu at and what's our minimums? So we're a Cat B aircraft, so our minimum's 490 feet there. But what's the weather going to be doing? So we've got a ceiling at 3,700. We've got wind 2 knots. Yeah, 2 knots from 360, so it does slightly favour runway 2. Yeah, 1020 hectopascals. Okay, yeah, so we'll go runway 02 and we'll do that approach as it gave us in sim brief. So I'll just change the scene back now. Okay, so let's get the FMC programmed. Just find it, take the yoke out the way while I do that. The control wheel, I should say. So, it was the RNAV 02 Zulu. the Lucid to Alpha. It's actually the Capua to Alpha we wanted, with the NZ transition. Well, the Kunvo transition, the first transition was onto the RNAV, and the second one is the entry into, so Kunvo is our first waypoint on the star, and NZ is our first waypoint on the RNAV. So we'll execute all of that, and then we will make sure that that looks good. So we'll just zoom it in so we can actually see what's going on here. So there's Capua, Guduki, Benepi, Ensned, Tungo, Islop, and Patru, which is the missed approach point. That all looks good. So we can put that back to rows and zoom it out again. Seeing 32 minutes to top of descent. So I'll just speed things up a little now. A bit of time acceleration. An advantage in not flying in VATC. We're passing over New Plymouth. Down there are flights to there. There's the field there, but they're twin otter flights, not ATR flights. And Mount Taranaki. You can see what I was talking about before. You've got, there's obviously an extension there, but it's just a perfect radius. Farmers have been allowed to clear the land up until that point and no more, which gives you an inkling what large tracts of New Zealand must have been like before agriculture, or European style agriculture anyway. Go. Coming up on the South Taranaki Bight, which is that north part of this water between the North Island and the South Island. In the wind, yeah, even up here at flight level 200, we've not got a lot of wind. We've just got 11 knots on the coming from the right, which is coming from the west. Because you can see our true airspeed and our ground speed are matching completely, so not much, well, no wind effect on our progress. Well, I'll give Beyond ATC one more go, see if the servers are back up. Just checking the weather from what it says in the briefing, weather briefing in active sky. So for Nelson, expected weather conditions are winds at 098, 6 knots, over 10 kilometers of visibility, QNH 1020. Degrees. Hi Revo. Which tablet are we talking about? This one? Or this one? The second one is the Flow add-on from Parallel 42. Which just replaces the bar across the top, and it's a really nice little just an improved UI and it comes with some widgets as well. I'll bring it up again, so you can choose what you want. So you've got all the different normal options, but some other things like portal, which is in the cockpit now, that's comes with the aircraft. Yeah, that's just part and parcel of the ATR-72, and it's allows you can load the flight plan and do your payload and see your center of gravity calculations and get performance data as well, and then you can also control the aircraft systems and performance, and perform maintenance if you have to. It's not a bad tablet. It's not got the same function as the FSR 500 has, but it's not bad. No Navigraph charts or anything like that. It's always nice to get comments though and questions, because it just lets me know that the watchers are not all bots. You never know these days. Okay, I'm gonna slow the time acceleration down again. I'll do it on this. So some rate, just back down to normal. Well, there's the South Island coming up. Top of the same. 8 nautical miles. So the star doesn't have, well, we need to be above 6,000 by BEPNI. Okay, well I'm going to start my descent now. So we will dial in 6,000. That's going to be flight level 060, but I'll change the barometer once it starts descending. Okay, so flight level 60, and we'll descend using IS mode. So check so we've got LNAV, IS, flight level 060 and 236 magenta. So we'll let it accelerate to 236 and then we'll pull the power levers back. And we'll also change our barometer, take it out of standard, and we'll put it to the local QNH 1020. Some of that cloud coming in that was predicted, not as much as I thought it would be actually. Hello there, Fire Panda. Thank you for watching the stream. Okay, we've got our descent checklist coming up. You live in Auckland. Okay, well, it's a lovely morning. This is real time and real weather, so it was a pretty beautiful, beautiful morning in Auckland. And pink waving. Yeah, I don't think my restream does emoticons. So, hello. I have never been. I've been to the South Island, but I've never been to the North. Okay, so descent checklist, flight warning system recall pressed, landing elevation checked at 0, FMS, nav, and performance, it's all good. Well, I'm going to pull the power levers back now. We're at our descent speed of 240 knots. That'll just give us a better rate of descent. Looking for about 1800 feet per minute. I'll fine tune it. Decision height, MDA, I've not put that in yet. Whoop, come on. Oh, Romania. Have I been to Romania? I don't think I have. I'm afraid to say I've not been to Romania. I've been to Bulgaria and Slovenia, but not Romania. Okay, our MDA was for a Cat B aircraft, LNAV 490. Well, that's very nice of you to say. I'm by some standards on streamers, I'm very boring. I just actually try and fly the plane and explain what I'm doing. There's no bells and whistles or silly things. I'm too boring for that. Great to see the chat though, I really like it. It definitely makes it a lot more fun for me. So now we're in descent. I just want to put my TCAS to below. It's just optimizing. There is no traffic, of course, because my... Hey! I always like a subscriber. I hit over 1,000 subscribers the other day, and YouTube now wants me to put my channel full of adverts, but I've not done it yet because I'm not really doing this to make money. Although given the amount of money I spend on flight sim, maybe I should. So we're descending at, well, this is 2,100 feet, that's pretty decent rate of descent. IS mode is holding us at 239 knots. Coming up on Kapua. Ah, right. So you've just got Microsoft Flight Simulator. Well, welcome. Or is it a, don't tell me it's a reinstall, which you do have to do sometimes. Okay. So we're going to be above 8,000. Yeah, I need to slow my rate of descent. So I'm going to add some power, which will slow my rate of descent. And you will see this little 6,000 here. I want that 6,000 to be close to BATC. Oh, naughty, naughty. Nemo Fire, I normally fly, if you look at my channel, you'll see that I actually do a lot of flying of bush plane, yeah, bush flying in little aircraft. And there's 10,000 feet, so landing lights can go on, and seatbelts can go on. Yeah, I normally fly the Kodiak 100 in Papua New Guinea and things like that. I really like sort of VFR flying. It's really good in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, I fly airliners as well. I did a bit of long haul flying, but the truth of the matter is it's quite boring. Particularly if you do on VATC and you're not allowed to use time acceleration.
Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you.
Okay, so that little blue 6,000 is now pretty much on BATC, so that's a good descent profile. Yeah, can't really comment on. I can only say you should obviously buy the official product from reputable vendors. Okay, I'm now in the descent, so it's dropped me automatically to 170 knots, so I'm not actually descending anymore, so I have to pull the power levers back. Yeah, Nemo 5, the Kodiak 100 is definitely my favourite aircraft, and I've done a whole series of tutorial videos on flying it. And had a chance to work with the developer as well, and I'm really looking forward to the 900, which should be coming out quite soon. Well, that's less of a capable sort of bush aircraft, or stall aircraft. Well, there's Nelson down there. I've been there a few years ago. Don't remember a lot about it, I've got to say. We're passing through on our way to the Abel Tasman. Okay, so we've got a better rate of descent now. Just do my approach checklist. So seatbelts are on, landing lights are on, altimeters are set and checked, and the cabin altitude check. So we'll just bring up our system pages, and we're looking for, yeah, the cabin altitude is good. Approach checklist complete. Thank you very much, Revo, and nice for leaving a comment. Hope you like what you find on the rest of the channel. Okay, that's us coming up on 6,000. So there's no altitude, so we want 3,600 at SNED, so I'm going to select 3,600. IS selected. Because we captured the altitude, it took me out of IS mode. You got to watch that. Now, technically, I'm descending a little bit. I'm descending through 6,000 before BATC. See, there's quite a bit of terrain, but the RNAV approach takes us into this valley over here. Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, I'd need to do more flying in Australia. I just happen to like flying in New Zealand as well, but I've done some flying in Australia. Some events and things like that. So SNED max 210 knots, well that's not an issue, and 3,600 feet. What I do need to do though, performance, and the wind was 360, and it was 6 knots. And so we've got VAP 106, and that's a manoeuvring speed. Flaps. 1,000 to go. Hey, don't want to do that. So we're just entering this sort of slightly critical phase of flight now, so I'll concentrate on the approach. So I've selected 3,300, which is the altitude we need to be at Tumgo. But we captured, so IS selected. That's only 300 feet, well, no problem making that. I'm going to be landing into that sun, so it's going to be really hard to see the field. I'll perform the before landing checklist once we get on to the approach properly, but we are now on to the RNAV. That was our initial approach fix at SNED. I'm going to go flaps 15. By doing that, it then activates the changes the approach speed, the automatic approach speed in magenta to 140 knots, because I do want to slow down, so 140 selected. Yes, it's really quite challenging if you're flying directly into the sun. I do have custom scenery for Nelson, so that means that the lights might be a bit better, but we're coming up on Tumso. Tumgo, I should say, and our next is Islop. We want to be, so there's no vertical guidance on this, so what I'm going to do is select 500 feet. And then use VS mode. I'm sorry, I'm not doing this in the cockpit as well, I'm doing it on external devices. So I've set a VS of 700 feet per minute. There is I could attempt to use VNAV to do an LNAV VNAV approach. It's not that, although that isn't actually permitted in the procedure. Oh, I can't see anything. It's definitely going to be interesting. Okay, before landing checklist, cabin crew briefed. Now our speed. Yeah, I want to get it below 160 knots, and then I'll pop the landing gear down. Landing gear down. Power management decline. And we want it below 150 knots, and we can go flaps 30. And we want to cross Islop at 1970. So I'm still letting the LNAV bring me in. We've got to remember that final track, which I'm just turning on to, was offset by 8 degrees. So we'll go visual. Around about 500 feet, just watching the speed. So our approach speed 106. So we're a little low on profile, so reduce the rate of descent. That'll hopefully bring us back in. So the field is somewhere there in front of us. So landing gear is down 3 green, flaps checked and set, power management takeoff, too low speed indicated, icing AOA not required, external lights as required. Before landing checklist complete. So the procedure is going to be, that's 1,000 to go, still a little low in profile, so radar altimeter's alive. Speed is good. Don't let it bleed off anymore. Just let it come down. We cross this inlet and then the field should just start to come visible. And we're offset 8 degrees, so it's going to be a gentle left-hand turn. Definitely better facing a sunset thunderstorm. You get microbursts or turbulence. I mean, you know, this is just a bit of glare. As soon as I get closer, I'll be able to see the runway lights. Okay, speed is good. We're still a little low in profile, but not much. Happy with that. $740 feet. MD. So our minimum, we are coming up on minimums.
Approaching minimum.
Okay, we have the field. Speed warning. Add power. Autopilot off. Okay, I am very high on profile now.
Minimum.
Continue. So you can just see the pappies there. Ooh, this is going to be a tricky landing. God, that glare is tremendous.
100.
Yeah.
50. 40.
Going around. So gear up flaps 15. Yeah, I just can see that. It's too high. It's always better to go around than attempt to force it. So what I'll do is I'll fly a visual circuit now. We'll climb up to 1500 feet and then we'll turn around. Yeah, it was just really hazy. You couldn't. So we'll set 1500. You know, you can really stop the ATR very quickly, but it's just not worth it. There's 1500 feet. Trying to keep the speed under control, don't get too fast. I'm leaving it at flaps 15. There's the field there. Just trying to get some of the landmarks. So there's that kind of double spit of land there. Thresholds round about there. So we've crossed past the threshold, land the gear down. Flaps 30. Okay. Turn to base. That looks like a cement factory. Pretty good landmark. Well, there's that double spit.
Approaching minimum. 500. Minimum. Minimum.
Well, I'm going to continue. Yeah, I'm still not lined up on the center line. That is an extremely hard airport runway to spot. I think there's the threshold there. Yeah, I can see the pappies. I've got 4 reds this time. I'm not going to be... God.
100, don't sink. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Wah! Yeah. Well, you should never try and force the landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 9:09 a.m. and it's currently about 11 degrees Celsius. You
Butter.
cannot use your mobile devices.
Yeah, that was a fairly dodgy landing. The problem actually I had was I didn't have my feet on my rudder pedals properly, so when I touched down I couldn't brake properly. And with the ATR, it wants to keep flying. So you land, you really have to push the stick forward and get the nose down. You can't, it just won't sink onto the runway like other aircraft. I understand that's fairly realistic behaviour. Eight 100 feet per minute is, yeah, it's not great, you know, but it's not, I mean, a 737-800 can handle that. You mean your landing gear might need a bit of an inspection, but I don't think it would break it in reality. Anyway, here we are at Nelson. I mean, it is good to do go-arounds now and again. Gives you quite a lot of work to do. So anyway, we're landed, so our flaps are up, our probe heat can go off, our taxiing, our strobes and landing lights are off, our transformer rectifier unit can go off. Radar needs to go off, but so it's always a bit awkward to get to it, particularly when you're taxiing. Okay, anyway, there's the radars off. So tomorrow we'll see. Probably will stream something in the evening. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm flying the ATR a lot at the moment, so it will be an ATR flight, maybe a Kodiak flight. Still really getting to know the Kodiak, the ATR. I started flying it a couple of weeks ago. So anyway, after landing checklist, radars off, flight controls locked, put the gust lock on, flaps are up, trims set, landing strobe lights off, anti-ice not required, probe heating's off, TRU is off. Good, good. It's nice to know. Hopefully we'll have ATC in the next flight. Yeah, my flight tomorrow will probably be my last actually for a while, because I have to go away for a few weeks. unfortunately. Right, well, we'll take the next stand, which is 6. I do use VATSIM quite a lot if there's coverage. I've started using Beyond ATC, new sort of ATC software, which is pretty good, but it's not working tonight. Our servers are down. I mean, VATSIM's excellent, but you just, you know, the coverage is always the issue. But if you like, if it was flying in Europe at the moment, it would be fine. They'd probably find quite a lot of coverage on a Saturday night. But the problem is they'd be flying in the dark, and I don't like flying in the dark. It's because I like seeing the scenery. So I know if I come to New Zealand, I can fly in the day. Nice custom scenery. So they have these turning circles. I'm not quite sure at what point you're supposed to stop your turn, but I'll stop it there. Put the parking brake on. Yeah, need to get better at doing that. Yeah, for the ATRs, they don't use pushback tugs or anything like that, so they have these turning circles all marked out in New Zealand. So there we are in Nelson. Oh, yeah, quite close to that. That's a scenery ATR. Are you a qualified controller? Anyway, alright, let's so we're gonna shut off engine number 1, the condition lever to feather, then cut off. Ah, very good. On VATSIM or in real life? So we'll get the wheel chocks on, we'll get ground power connected. Ground power is on. So we can now shut off engine number 1. Excellent. Where do you normally control? So engine 1 to feather. I know quite a lot of people who've gone from VATSIM controlling to real life ATC. It's pretty good training for it. Okay, that's engine number 2 shut down. Our beacon can now go off. Right, engines are shut down. Most passengers will be get the tail prop up. Main door can go open. Cargo door can go open, and the seatbelts can go off. Right, well, the passengers should now start deboarding. I've often wondered about getting GSX, which would actually see the passengers coming off, but I don't know if I can face having another app running, stealing more performance. All my frame rates are already not as good as I want them to be. Okay, excellent. Very good. And what region do you normally control? case you're wondering what this music is, this is the Air New Zealand boarding music, which I managed to find on the internet and program in. So it plays. It's actually, I already hate it, but you know, I'm committed to the immersion. Okay, parking checklist. Parking brake is on. Taxi and takeoff lights are off. Condition lever 2 is favored and it's already shut down actually. Beacon is already off. Transponder can go to standby. Tail prop is on, seatbelts are off, and we're leaving the aircraft. So we'll complete the full shutdown procedure. So oxygen main supply off, ice protection's all off, exterior lights, I'll put the the nav lights off when I'm ready to finish. Emergency exit lights. Ah, Germany. Yeah, I do. I've done quite a bit of flying in Germany. Yeah, no, I will. No, I'm going the wrong way. Right, emergency exit lights disarmed. Radar is already off. Condition lever 2 is shut off already. Fuel pumps 1 and 2 off. The cockpit door locking system is off. Right. What's going on with the deboarding, right? Oh, deboarding is complete, according to PACX. Right. Well, I think they're all off now. We've got the aircraft in a shutdown condition pretty much, so all I need to do now is power down. So the external power can go off and the battery can go off. And then I'll get this horrible grinding noise because that's a bug in the ATR. Which you can actually see there, and that's what's making that noise. For some reason. It does that. But if you have external power connected, it doesn't. Anyway, here we are. This is Nelson. This is a custom scenery by NZA Simulations, which I've not looked at before because I got it for this flight. Nice interior. Guess this is the executive lounge by the looks of it. This looks a bit posh in there. Hello, ladies. Oh, this is very nice scenery. Airport's a bit quiet. I guess it would be at this time in the morning. Ooh, a vintage car. It's like an old NZA sim. Very nice. Yeah, this is really impressive. Abel Tasman National Park. Yeah, I've been there. Went sea kayaking around it. It was fantastic. See, it's out the front of the terminal building. Overcast layer that was forecast is there. Didn't really seem to come in when I was flying, but yeah, I would have preferred it if it was there. It might have made it less glare from the sun when I was on the approach, which was really tough. That was one of the hardest light I think of all the approaches I've done, that was one of the trickiest in terms of just not being able to see the field until really late, really beyond minimums. Got over here. Originaire. Well, I'm not quite sure where they fly to. This looks like a maintenance hangar. Or is this the medical apron? It's sunrise. Sunrise. It's very early in the morning in New Zealand. I think I took off at 7 a.m. or something. It was around about then. It's like I know it's a 12 or 13 hour difference. Yeah, on the charts this is marked as a medical apron, so I think it's must do flying doctor flights from there. Or is it over here? I know it's the Air New Zealand hangar. Yeah, I think sunrise was checked in real life at 7:15, but where I am, where I'm in Scotland at the moment, the sunrise is about 6 a.m. It's like a run-up area. 5:30 a.m. Yeah. Well, it's got to remember, of course, it's going into winter in the southern hemisphere as well. So cool. Guess they do heli tours from there. Right. Well, that's Nelson. Nice little. I'm glad I got this scenery. It's really nice. I think all the sceneries that NZA Sim do are really good. I'll just go into the control tower. I'll check out what the magazine is. Oh, yeah, NZNR Napier. That's one of the other ones they sell. Cool. Right, well, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you for all the posts and the chat. It's always really good. And look forward to hopefully seeing you on the next stream, which might well be tomorrow. Okay then, see you for now.